Hey, it's Frank here with 4D Honeybee, and it's the moment of truth yet again. I've said that about 5 times about this hive. I'm checking out my my troubled hive, which started off in June 15th. I installed it from a nuke, and it might have swarmed right away. Lots of sign of swarm all the time with this hive. I broke it up into 2 splits. That didn't work. The splits came back into the original hive. They made a queen. The queen didn't lay. I pinched the queen. I installed a new queen. This is where it gets interesting. I installed the new queen. She was released probably between 10 and 12 days ago. So we have to see capped brood from this queen now. We should see a lot of laying, a lot of larvae, eggs, to know that she can make it through a couple brood cycles to get enough bees for the winter here. So if she isn't able to, then we've got to make another decision about that hive. But hopefully we'll see that. And hopefully we'll see that she's still doing well, you know, 10, 12 days later. Also, I'm going to check on my food. I made this this patty. I've decided to call it the paella patty instead of a pollen patty. There's no real pollen in it. So hopefully they've eaten that up, used the nutrients. It's a gorgeous day here. It's another 26 degree, 79 degree Fahrenheit day in the bee yard. And it's first week of August, so they got to get cooking here at 4D Honeybee. So the first thing I look at is hive entrance activity. Let's see if I can do it out of the sun here. There's not much of it at this hive, frankly. It kind of concerns me a little. There's a few bees coming and going, but not much. And that's not a good sign. Okay, let's see what's going on with this hive. Even the lid isn't glued on all that much. And again, it's just signs of not as much activity as what you'd like to see. Well, that's a good sign. Lots of bees up here. And the bonus good sign of the fact that it looks like they have pretty much devoured my paella patty. So that's good. That shows us that they've liked it. And they've eaten it. Lots of drones up here. The queen shouldn't be up here because we've got the queen excluder on. So this second box here should strictly be resources, and I'm not going to have much of a look at it right now. I'm just going to... Boy, that's a big bee. Look at that bee right there. That drone. It's very light colored as compared to the others. Anyway, I'm just going to sort of get a feel for how much weight is in this box as I move it down, but I'm not really going to do much more with that top box. This is all about whether or not the queen is laying and laying satisfactorily. I mean, these bees have been really calm, but I am going to give them a bit of a shot of smoke. Okay, weight-wise, that top box is not bad. I'd say right now it's got 30 pounds of honey. We will need a lot more than that to overwinter. So looking at the activity over here, my guess is that your queen is in this area right over here. So we'll get rid of this queen excluder and see what we see. Now this queen did have tons of space to lay down in this bottom box. Pretty much every frame was available for her. Now at this point, we should be eventually finding capped brood in here. And, you know, it's most likely she might get out to this far frame. But right now it is empty. And pretty much just a frame there's not much happening. Except for yellow jackets. I mean, this frame is perfectly available to lay, but there's no activity on it. Doesn't actually appear to be any bees on it at all. Look at this. Very interesting that this queen is not laying on this frame. Or the next one for that matter. Not much going on here either. It's an absolutely perfect frame to lay in, but there's just nothing going on. We start to see action now in, I'd say, the next 4 or 5 frames, but at this point I'm already disappointed that there isn't more laying going on. The next frame over is the frame that I put into this hive with brood in it. Yeah, and just another perfectly empty frame. Over here, got some pollen, lots of pollen being stored. Looks like this is the frame that they're storing the paella patties from. But still no laying. No queen. Now this next frame had brood in it that I put in here with the queen. And when we found the queen after being released at the 48-hour mark, she was on the next frame over the black frame there. So here we've got hatched out brood and maybe a lot of dead brood. There may not be enough nurse bees in here to take care of the brood. See, it looks like what is hatched out, and the rest of it does not look good. Does not have a good color. There are plenty of young bees in there. Okay, now this next frame is where the queen was, 8-9 days ago. It's feeling heavy, and it's a nice brood frame. Okay, this is a good sign. So we are seeing capped brood on here, larvae, eggs, and on this side, good capped brood, larvae and eggs. So this is the frame that we saw the queen on a week ago, and it shows the perfect sign. If you look at it, she lays from the middle out, so the middle is already capped. As you go further out, you see larvae in various stages, and then eggs on the very outside. So I expect to find the queen in the next 2 frames, because that's where all the bee activity is. Still a very light frame, this one. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Lots of pollen coming in. Okay, here we've got brood, and we've got eggs. Probably ready to start capping this brood soon. So this will be a good frame. Let's see what's on this side. Not much of anything on this side. Have a look. This side does not look like it's been laid on yet. Very odd for a queen to lay on one side but not the other. And we should be seeing her now in the next frame or 2. There is plenty of action over here. Okay, this is a heavier frame. And there's the queen. Okay, let's see what the next frame over is doing. This frame's got a decent amount of bees on it. very heavy frame. But they're filling this one with honey. Yeah, just filling her up with honey. Okay, so she is laying, but not laying much. And there's not going to be enough bees in this hive to survive the winter. So I'm going to put another brood frame in here with the nurse bees in here as well. So just in case that is the issue, whereby, you know, they're making their own nurse bees. 2 frames of nurse bees have hatched, but maybe there's just not enough. I don't know. I'm going to pull this frame here. This is a pretty good frame for the other hive. I'm going to put the excluder back on here, go to my other hive, grab a frame, and hopefully it's a nice frame of brood that we can stick in here. So here's a tremendous brood frame that I'm going to put in, and I'm going to still shake it, thinking that the nurse bees will end up staying and the foragers, if any, will end up flying away. And I think I'm going to grab a second frame as well. Okay. This frame. Easy bees. Okay. Okay, so I've put 2 more broods, 2 more frames of brood in this hive. That makes the total 5. 5 frames of brood that I've added through this hive in the last month or so. The queen is in there, she's laying, but she's only laid, as I could recall, what, maybe 2.5 frames? And they're just starting to get to the point where they're capped, so I've got the feeling this queen is going to run out of time as far as numbers goes before this hive gets winter ready. So we're going to give her a little more help and hope that, that she can get it done. The numbers aren't terrible, but they're not great. Keeping in mind it's still 2 brood boxes going, and the reason why I still got it going in 2 brood boxes is because I've got the entire bottom brood box just available for her to lay, right? We're in a honey flow here, and I don't want them jamming up a box with honey where she could be laying, right? So because of that, we're just letting all the honey and production happen in this top hive, and the hatching and bee rearing in the bottom hive. Oh, I'm really glad that this thing has worked, but you see how it kind of spilled out all over here? It's probably because it was too wet, and with the heat, it probably just became a bit of a runny mess instead of a solid, but that's something we can work on. Okay, so I'm a little disappointed in how that queen is doing. She is laying. It's just going pretty slowly. It's been, again, between 10 and 12 days that she's been in that hive laying, and as far as I can see, there are only like maybe 2.5 frames that are freshly laid. So we're in the first week of September. She's got all the month of September and hopefully some of the month of October to lay, and she's going to need a lot more bees for this hive to survive. So gave her a few more resources. 2 more frames of bees should increase the numbers pretty nicely. Hopefully she keeps laying, and we keep checking them out, hopefully helping them on 4D Honeybee.